Hello, Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and there's a thunderstorm going on, so I don't know if I should apologize or just say hooah, because I'm talking about the subject today of being a fierce warrior, not warrior, but warrior in your recovery. So what's more fierce than an intense thunderstorm? Amen. God says to me. So I want to talk about being fierce and being a warrior in your recovery. One of my most encouraging and supportive readers has sent me some quotes, and they inspired me to make this video. And the first one is by Karen Salmonson, and she wrote this: if you're reading this, you've survived your life to this point. Heartbreak, losses, betrayals, traumas, and here you are. You go, fierce warrior. You are awesome. You go, fierce warrior. Not you go, girl. You go, fierce warrior. For me to have survived, by the way, I'm in Grand Haven, and that's the river right behind me. I'm here to meet with my therapist, Paul Hartman, in about an hour and a half. I'm just trying to stay dry and make use of my time. There are 10 attributes or examples I can give where courage and being a fierce warrior is called upon, was called upon for me, and will be called upon for you. So let me tell you what those are. So number 10, or number 1, we'll start at the top and move down. The first issue that will require you to have great courage and to great work. Number 1 is embracing your pain, crying the tears. That is hard. In our culture, we don't want to cry tears. We don't want to embrace our pain. We would rather drink, have sex, get high, watch TV, go to a movie, work, anything but cry. People are very uncomfortable with tears. They aren't used to people crying, and for the past 80 days I've cried every single day, and sometimes people just want to shut me up and shut me down, because what it does is it triggers emotions, within themselves that they really don't want to embrace or go to. So they want to shut down the crier, for God's sake. Another quote that was sent to me by this same gal says, I've been stabbed in the back by those I needed the most. I've been lied to by those I love. And I have felt alone when I couldn't afford to be alone. But at the end of the day, I had to learn to be my own best friend, because there's going to be days where no one is going to be there for me but myself. I totally agree with that. I don't know whose quote that was, but I agree with it. Many a day in the past 80 days, I had to be my own best friend. And there were days I wasn't much of a friend, but I've learned to be a good friend to myself. The second thing that comes to mind that you're going to have an awful lot of courage, and that is sometimes just to stay alive. I'm 56 years old, and never once in 56 years have I ever had a thought of harming myself until I went through this trauma. And even then, it was only about 20 minutes. But the pain seemed so overwhelming and so daunting and so scary and so deep and so scarring. I just wanted to drift off. But there's a bigger part of me that says, hell no. I am not going out that way. You only get one life to live. Some people say you get others. I think you just get this one. And am I going to go out that way? No, sir. I'm going to battle and fight. And you need courage just to stay alive sometimes. The third thing is even harder, and that is you need the courage. You need the fierceness. You need the warrior mentality to not blame others. It's so easy to blame others for the pain in your own life. So somebody would say, well, Mark, you know, your fiance cheated on you the whole 6.5 years, and then she disappeared and didn't have a conversation, you know, for you. No. Our lives are what we make them, and I picked the right person to deliver a reenactment of my mommy, and it's not, my life issues are not her fault, or the fault of the fellow who she was carrying on with. My issues are my responsibility, and they're rooted in my choices and my decisions. Amen? And you'd say, well, Mark, you're being too hard on yourself. No, I'm not. I'm telling the truth to myself. And you know what? It's freeing, because I'm facing going out there and dating again. If somebody can do that to me, I might as well stay at home and watch TV every night, drink hot chocolate, and hang out with Mr. Polly. If some woman can do this to me again, well, there is no hope. But if I can heal me and work through my issues and get healthier, which I think I have, nobody can do this to me again. And we'll have a more positive experience this time out of the chute. Amen. So the fourth thing that you're going to need courage for, especially if you go through trauma, is you're going to need to take some time off of work. I haven't worked since the 22nd day of May. And it's July the 13th today, Monday, July the 13th. And that's a long time, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And if you are working hard on healing trauma, you need to take a break. And you say, well, you know, I can't afford it. Well, neither can I. I can't afford it. I've been running my credit cards up. I carry them around, and then if one of them don't go through, I try another one. And I've been staying afloat so far. I go back to work in 4 days. No, I don't. I go back to work in 11 days. I forgot I got another treatment option coming up here in on-site, healing love addiction. So take time off work. It doesn't matter what it costs. The only thing that matters is getting better. So I've just taken the approach of, you know, I can make money later. I've got the rest of my life to make money, but this is my golden opportunity to heal really deep things within myself, and I got to take that opportunity now. So the fifth thing that's going to take a lot of courage is getting the treatments you need. If you're really super deep in trauma, you might need a 6-day workshop, kind of a inpatient experience. when people think of inpatient, they think of the local psychiatric hospital who is filled with, people who are numbed out on Thorazine and, they don't do therapy there. They just lock you up in a room. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going to treatment where they're getting you off medicine and you're rolling up your sleeves and you're getting some life-changing work done. And you can do that in 6 days in many situations. I'm going to on-site near Nashville on Friday for 4.5 days. And I won't have a phone, won't have my car, but I will get a lot of work done on love addiction. In my case, I went to a 6-day workshop on trauma. I knew that I wasn't near done. And then I signed myself into a residential treatment center. And I had to, first night, I had to ask some 23-year-old if I could do my laundry. And they had to unlock the laundry room, let me in there. And I didn't get to see my phone. Sort of felt like a powerless little kid, but it gave me the time and energy to do the focusing. It cost me a lot of money. I actually borrowed money from my son to do it, but that takes courage. I wasn't going home where I was going to be reactive and possibly get into some negative cycles and put myself in harm's way. I was going to work until I was done. I was going to heal until I was healed. Didn't matter what the cost. So the next thing is, with recovery, this concept of fierceness, I'm losing my voice, you have to have dedication. And one of my hero models for dedication is Rocky Balboa. And I've attacked this process for 80 days, like Rocky Balboa, drinking raw eggs in the morning, getting out there and running, hitting raw pieces of meat, standing on the steps of Philadelphia and going, woo! Dun, 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 dun. Eye of the Tiger. That's me. Eye of the Tiger. If you're going to change your life, you've got to have a lot of fire in your belly. And when it comes to giving into addiction, you're going to say no. No, sir. When it comes to acting out, you're going to say no. When it comes to pulling the plug on your treatment, you're going to say no. You're going to say yes to, I'm committed to my work. When I was at the treatment center, I'd get up every morning at 6 a.m. lift weights, just to remind myself that I'm Rocky Balboa and I'm going to heal the wounds of my childhood, and I'm going to turn a bad situation into a good situation. Life gives you lemons, make some lemonade. And I made some badass lemonade. So the next thing that being fierce can help you with is exercising. It'll help you have a frame of mind of fierceness. If you're losing weight, if you're putting on some muscles like I did a little bit, and if you're a little bit svelte, is that a word? Svelte, there you go. Where you look in the mirror and not only is your spirit different, but your body's different. That was one of my goals of recovery, is I wanted my body to look as different as my spirit was becoming. And I believe I've accomplished that. So run, lift, ride bikes, do whatever it is that you like to do. Every day I was in the treatment center, I did 100 sit-ups. If it had rained, I just laid myself down in the wet driveway and did my sit-ups. Nothing was going to stop me. So if you want to, fight with Apollo Creed and Clubber Lang, you need to be focused. And you know what? There's people out there in your life looking to knock you out. They're looking to take your money, take your relationship, take your reputation, and do you harm. And you're not so much fighting them as you're fighting yourself. If you're strong and fierce and you go to war with humility and words that are accurate and recovery and the ability to not engage in reactivity, you're going to win many battles. My brother Chuck sent me a card, and he just said, "There's many victories ahead, champ." And he got that right. I'm just warming up for more victories. So the next thing is you're going to really have to fight. I was in a treatment setting where there were unsafe people, and they were coming after me like a couple of sharks in the water, and it was very unsafe. There was even a therapist that was unsafe and not very ethical and harming to me. And frankly, the whole place there, they were all listening to the gossip of these sharks and looking at me askance, like, you know, what is wrong with you, dude? But you know what? You know, I used my fierceness and my warrior mentality, and I was non-reactive, and I used my big boy words, and I wrote them down. I talked with the staff, and ultimately they heard me and believed me, and I was very much so vindicated in those situations. And as you will be in life, because sometimes people pile on. You know, sometimes people gossip, and there's work situations that feel unfair. Nothing's unfair. You just got played. You got beat. You didn't see some stuff coming, and you got beat. Whose job is it to see stuff coming? That's your job. In a relationship, you didn't see stuff coming. I sure didn't see coming what I had to learn, but that's on me. It's my job to see stuff coming. So it's wonderful to win a fight, walk away with psychological blood on your shirt and on your hands, and big smile on your face. With people understanding, pardon my language, that's a fella you don't want to fuck with. And not have to raise your voice or get reactive or swear, but just walk tall and carry a big stick. Amen. So the next thing that'll take a lot of courage is telling your story. A lot of therapists wouldn't get on YouTube and talk about their treatment in a residential treatment center, and talk about their abandonment from their fiance, and talk about crying every day. But people are people, man. I got nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. I don't have one thing to be ashamed of. I acted a little goofy right at first, but that was my trauma. I have nothing to be ashamed of. And if it'll help other people, then all the better. So I'm going to tell my story with great joy and exuberance. Then the last thing I can think of 10 things is many times the most powerful thing you can do is to not engage. My favorite quote is by a woman named Sherry Argov, and you're going to get a kick out of this, and pardon my language again, but she wrote a book called Why Men Love Crazy Bitches. Sounds like a book that Mark should read. Absolutely. And the quote is, "Truly powerful people do not need to explain their need for respect. They just don't engage with people who do not give it to them." So what I've learned to do is, if somebody's not giving me respect, I just, put it in reverse. The power's in your feet. So I was talking with somebody via text yesterday. I won't say who it was, but they totally didn't understand me. They were being rude and unempathetic and obtuse and harming. And I started to get a little, triggered. Like I wanted them to understand my pain. And I thought, I could turn purple in the face and drop a bunch of F-bombs, but they're still not going to understand my pain. So I just deleted the conversation and went on my day in a wonderful mood, and put this person on the not safe to talk about your issues list. And you got to have that list, because there's people like that out there. So it's a wonderful thing to not have to engage. I got home last night and one of my associates sent me a text, and she said, well, so-and-so really triggered me. And I said, no, they didn't. You triggered you. Who answered the phone? Who made you answer the phone and have the conversation? Did they have a gun to your head? No. You answered the phone. You had the conversation. So who's responsible for you getting triggered? You are. She goes, well, you're right. and just like me, I was triggered earlier in the evening with this other person who was just ignorant. There's so many people that just don't have any knowledge or insight of trauma. She said, well, why are you surprised that this woman you're engaged with acted this way? You knew who she was. Why are you surprised? And I said, I can assure you, I was surprised. And even if I did see some of it coming, it still shocks your system to know ugly, scary truths that have occurred. So have the spirit of a warrior. You'll need it. Life is hard, and if you don't come to life with a great deal of spunk and fight, you're going to get your butt kicked on a daily basis. I'm going to read this quote again by Karen Salmansohn. If you're reading this, you've survived your life to this point. Heartbreak, losses, betrayals, trauma, and here you are. So go, you fierce warrior. You are awesome. I replied back to this gal when I got that, and I said, I am a fierce warrior. And I don't mean to sound arrogant, but the work that I've been able to do with the support I've had has been pretty awesome. So fire up and go to battle. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll need to have a fierceness. Well, that's what I had to share with you today. Thank you for watching. Hey, I'm coming back to work. Y'all need to get on my schedule. I can help you. I can help you more now than I've ever been able to help you. I've been booked up since 1989, hiding behind psychological defenses and not really knowing who I am, and not healing the core of me. My therapist, Paul Hartman, he said, what are you going to do when you go to work and the walls are down and you're healthy? And then down the road you get in a healthy relationship. How good are you going to be then? And I thought, well, I'm going to be a lot better. I know that. So you got marital issues, you got infidelity issues, you got trauma issues, you got abandonment issues, you got shame issues. You're in the Indianapolis area, I'm your guy. So give me a call, 317-507-8866. If you have an internet connection and a device in the English-speaking world, I'm also your guy via Skype and FaceTime. Visit our website, familytreecounseling.com, and visit our YouTube station, Family Tree Counseling, and rock on with your bad self, you fierce warriors.